The top 7 at 7 starts right now. 7 stories, all the local news that's driving conversations across your communities tonight.
I'm Mallory Safaste in Glen Oaks. Over the years, cars have crashed through this playground fence and the city replaced it again and again. This prompted neighbors to push for a more permanent and protective solution, which they now have, but it took a lot of persistence. It's clear a fence is no match for cars barreling off Northern Parkway. We know of at least 2 crashes in April and, according to Google Maps, sometime in 2023. And that's why these community members reached out to us. They want a permanent protective barrier around Chinkapin Park Playground. Since April, they've held community meetings, safety walks, and filed 311 requests.
And they close them out and say that the work is done and it's not done.
In early August, we contacted Baltimore City Recreation and Parks. The next day, they made a temporary repair. A little over a month later, there's now a permanent solution. Bollards line the perimeter of the problem area, keeping traffic out and kids safe inside.
I feel so much better, and I just want to thank you. I want to thank all of those who were involved.
Also in August, we noticed a storm had taken down a massive tree across the street, so kids dribbled around it. Recreation and Parks sent out an urban forester after we notified them, and that's also been remedied. Mallory Safaste, WMAR 2 News.
I'm Jeff Morgan in White Marsh. We got the chance to sit down with acting GJS Secretary Betsy Fox Tolentino after she's been on the job for 3 months to see what changes have been made to the department and what's going to be changed going forward. DJS has dealt with issues surrounding its intake process, people feeling like too many young people were being sent right back out into the community after committing a crime. A neighborhood association in Baltimore called for Vincent Schiraldi to be fired in the fall of 2024.
I've heard the same thing, and that really has directed a lot of our attention to those areas, really understanding what's happening. Why is the community and our stakeholders experiencing those feelings that the department is having young people sort of cycle through and our front door isn't working the way we want it to? So we've dug into our operations. We've looked and seen how our tools help us make decisions, how they're operating. Because at the end of the day, we want our operations to generate the outcomes that we all want to see, which is our young people thriving and our communities feeling safer.
Fox Tolentino is only the acting secretary for now. Governor Moore's office has said she will get the official nomination before Maryland Senate, which will happen early next year. In Baltimore, Jeff Morgan, WMAR 2 News.
Allegations of unsafe working conditions. I'm Jeff Hager at BWI Airport, where non-union ground workers have filed a formal complaint. Between the time you hand over your luggage to employees at Spirit Airlines and board the plane, non-union workers behind the scenes say they're charged with doing the dirty work in what they're calling unsafe conditions. Faulty equipment is a problem, as is an exposure to biohazards when they clean toilets in the planes. But the crux of their formal complaint with the Maryland Occupational Safety and Health Agency, or MOSH, centers on the state's new protections for those who work in extreme heat.
They don't really give us enough water. Countless times in June, July, and August, we ran out and had no water because they've only given us half a case. That shouldn't happen.
The workers' company, which contracts with Spirit Airlines, is called Alliance Ground International, or AGI. AGI responded to the allegations saying they are false, and they've never been reported to the company. They add this is a ploy by a union to attempt to get the workers to organize. At BWI Marshall Airport, Jeff Hager, WMAR 2 News.
I'm Jack Watson in Overley with a fundraiser ahead of a weekend event honoring a fallen Baltimore County police officer.
The Amy Caprio Classic is this Saturday, a lifting event at Exile Fitness in Rosedale. All the money raised goes to Barks.
And I figured why not do some powerlifting for, some money for the animals.
Caprio died in the line of duty on May 21st, 2018, fatally struck by a car in Perry Hall responding to a call. Officer Joshua Phipps works to keep her memory alive each September since 2022. Last year's event raised $20,000 for Barks.
It's one of these that unfortunately we only really think about it once a year when the line of duty death anniversary comes around, and it's something that I wanted to keep her memory alive, and more than just the once a year, and just try to raise some money.
Well, the lift is on Saturday, September 20th in Rosedale, starting at 9 a.m. In Overley, Jack Watson, WMAR 2 News.
I'm Sayer Williams, your Voice for Veterans reporter. He's almost 100 years old, and he's still standing guard at one of Baltimore's most historic clubs. Leonard Larry Washington was drafted in 1943, served on the front lines of Normandy, and came home to Baltimore in 1945. Since then, he's been at the Arts Social Club on Pennsylvania Avenue, a black men's club founded in 1905, even older than he is. For decades, Washington has been its doorman, enforcing one rule at his door.
Nobody couldn't come in if I didn't want you to come in.
Really?
Yeah, police came in.
Did you let him in?
Huh?
Did you let him in?
No.
At 100 years old, Leonard Larry Washington still calls the Arts Social Club his home. Sayer Williams, WMAR 2 News.
And we want to hear about veteran-related stories that you want us to cover. Later this month, we're kicking off our Let's Talk series at the Howard County Veteran Small Business Expo in Columbia, featuring Sayer Williams. She's the only area reporter dedicated to covering our veterans. So come out and support local veteran-owned businesses at the expo and meet Sayer on Saturday, September 27th from noon until 4. Stop by, say hello, share your stories, your successes, or your struggles with your Voice for Veterans station.
I'm Blair Sable in Old Ellicott City, where the future of two art statues hangs in the balance. It began with an anonymous complaint to Howard County, though it's unclear exactly what it was about. Some have pointed out they do look like emojis popularized for innuendo. The Historical Commission says they detract from the character of the city. The commission says the aubergine can stay only another year, but the peach has got to go.
It's kind of ridiculous, I think. It's just their art, they're fun, and there's other art here on the street.
The commission has another meeting coming up next month, and supporters say they plan to appeal and, if need be, take this all the way to the courts. In Ellicott City, Blair Sable, WMAR 2 News.
I'm Maria Morales, and I'm at Towson University's Startup Accelerator Showcase, where 6 entrepreneurs are going to get a chance to pitch their business to the region's business community.
Getting here for them wasn't easy. More than 100 startups from across Maryland applied for just 10 spots in this year's cohort, a record for the program in its 7th year. The companies in the program represent a variety of industries, like medical technology, consumer packaged goods, healthcare, and education. Over the summer, the cohort had weekly group sessions on topics like AI and workforce development. They also met with mentors to help them fast-track their ventures. And now they'll put everything they've learned to the test.
We'll have more from the showcase tonight at 11 in Towson. Maria Morales, WMAR 2 News.